Hey everyone, Fearfire here with a League of Legends guide covering some of the basic strategies and tactics you will need to know in order to succeed in game. First of all, it would be smart to know at least two of each type of champion in case one gets banned or is otherwise unplayable. So, you are going to want to know at least two types of tanks. Some examples of tanks include Malphite and Shen. You are also going to want to know at least two carries who deal physical damage, such as Ashe or Xin Zhao. And of course two AP carries, those that deal magic damage, like Swain or Malzahar. And let us not forget the support characters who bolster the overall effectiveness of your team, like Sona or Zilean. Now let's get into some pre-game strategy. Now I want you to take a look at Purple Team's composition. First of all, they have Swain, an AP carry, Zilean, a support, Alistar, a roamer, who I'll talk more about in a moment, Twitch, an AD carry, and Malphite, their tank. Now, if you're unable to have a jungler for whatever reason, the next best thing is probably a roamer, someone who goes from lane to lane ganking in an attempt to score kills for your team. Alistar is a good example of a roamer. Take a look at Purple Team's summoner spells here. First of all, 3 of them have teleport. The only types of characters I would recommend taking teleport on are your team's carries, so that they can make sure that they're in all of the fights, and also so that in the laning phase, when they go back to base, they're able to return to lane quickly without losing out on much experience. Additionally, both Janna and Tristana have taken the summoner spell Clarity, which replenishes mana to the champion who uses it, and with the mastery improved Clarity, also to nearby allied champions. However, it replenishes so much mana that it is quite unnecessary to have 2 on one team, especially when one of the champions on your team doesn't even have a mana pool, in this case Vladimir. Now my favorite summoner spell is Flash, because it allows you to correct mistakes in team positioning. Here I'm a little too slow in leaving their base, and I get attacked by Xin Zhao and Blitzcrank, but I'm able to flash over a wall and escape. Here as Teemo I get ganked, but I'm able to hop over a wall and live to fight another day. Here I use Flash offensively to catch up to this Anivia who is a little too slow getting out of the fight. Lux and I are able to finish her off with ease. Now the first thing I want to talk about when it comes to laning is last hitting. Basically, whoever scores the killing blow on a minion is rewarded with extra gold. Now this is especially important to do while playing a carry, specifically an AD carry who is item dependent. Now while playing a support champion or someone who is generally less reliant on items, it may be wiser to allow your laning partner to get more of the last hits, as they could probably put the gold to better use. This brings me to my next topic, which is whether it's better to use your abilities on enemy minions and push the lane, or use your abilities on enemy champions, harassing them and eventually zoning them out of experience. Now there are 3 major benefits to pushing a lane. First of all, it's easy. Secondly, it's also slightly easier to last hit while pushing. And thirdly and most importantly, eventually your minions will make it to the enemy's turret, and the turret will get lots of the last hits on the minion, thus denying the opposing champion lots of gold. There is, however, one major drawback to pushing a lane, and that is that if you do not back off after clearing out the wave of enemy minions, you leave yourself very susceptible to ganks. The amount of gold you are denying the enemy champion is probably not equal to the amount of gold they would get if they ganked you successfully. So an easy way of guaranteeing last hits is to look at the amount of damage each auto attack deals. In this example, Caitlyn's dealing about 70 damage at this point. Now if you left click a minion, you'll be able to see clearly at the top of your screen the exact number of hit points they have left. All I would have to do in this example is wait until that number equals 70, then right click the minion and earn gold. Now here for whatever reason, Nocturne gets a little too aggressive, starts attacking me, he even ignites me in an attempt to kill me. He doesn't realize Twitch is here, and our combined damage is too much for him. We're able to score our team an easy kill. Now in this example I am playing Malphite and laning with Zilean. Both Malphite and Zilean are excellent harassers. We are using our abilities to harass the enemy and keeping them away from the minions, thus denying them both gold and experience at the same time. The main drawback about harassing like this is that you are forced to stay between the minions and the enemy's turret, thus leaving yourself very vulnerable to ganks. However, if you are able to avoid being ganked and survive, you are able to severely cripple, in this case 2, members of the opposing team who will be under-leveled and under-farmed. In this example, we were more than a level higher than them. I decided to include this clip in the laning phase section of the guide because it's a good example of what not to do while fighting in lane. Our opponents were very skilled, but they did make 2 key mistakes. To get things started, our Katarina is playing a little too aggressively and ends up taking a hit from the enemy tower, thus allowing their Katarina to quickly finish her off. Now Shen makes their first mistake when he thinks that Katarina is going to stick around and fight me, so he taunts me. After killing him, Katarina makes their second mistake when she doesn't realize that my blind has just come off cooldown, and I am able to score my team an easy double kill as a result. This segues nicely into the next section of the guide, ganking. Now the majority of ganks can either be earned or prevented through clever use of wards. In general, you are going to want to make sure that Dragon is constantly warded early game and Baron is constantly warded late game. Additionally, any place in the jungle where 3 paths meet is also a good place to put a ward. You'll be able to keep track of the enemy jungler most of the time. In this example, we warded the enemy jungler's red buff and saw when he was there. Now he had a hunch that he was about to get ganked and tried to run away, but he didn't realize that there were 4 of us here, and we were able to score our team an easy kill, thanks to wards. Now right here, bottom team had just succeeded in killing an enemy champion, but were left very weak as a result. Teemo thinks he's going to be able to score an easy double kill, but doesn't check his map and realize that I'm MIA, so I'm able to come down, kill Teemo, and save our team at the same time. Now there's not as much to say in this example, but basically, always be checking your minimap. Pretend you're driving a car. Every couple seconds you look in your rear view mirrors to make sure no one's about to hit you or anything. Do the same thing in League of Legends. Always be checking your minimap to make sure you're not about to get ganked. If people are MIA, back off. So here I am laning top lane when I realize that my opponents are starting to overextend, so I call for our jungler. Now I would have gone in there, except we're waiting for Tristana to overextend, as she is the squishier target and easier to kill. She overextends here, I hit her with my Q and my E, but am forced to Sanguine pull away after they exhaust and ignite me. Nocturne, however, is able to keep up on the attack and ends up killing Tristana. In a nutshell, tower diving is all about math. It's about being able to calculate whether or not you're going to deal enough damage to the enemy to kill them before they and their tower deal enough damage to kill you. Now I included this clip here because it shows how I am setting up for a tower dive. I even use my ultimate to make sure that they have to back off. Now Yarvin 4 B's to base, but Tristana, I don't even know what she was doing, maybe farming some minions or something, but she ends up sticking around, so I just focus on getting the last hits on a couple of these minions, and then I am going to tower dive her. I know that between my Q, my E, and my W, I will have more than enough damage to kill her before she and her tower will be able to do enough damage to kill me. As Vladimir, I do have an easy way of getting out of tower dives because I'm able to avoid taking 1 or 2 hits through my Sanguine pool. In my opinion, team fights are all about positioning. This isn't much of a team fight, but look at Malzahar and Teemo's positioning. They're staying away from the middle of the action, allowing them to deal lots of damage while taking none in return. Now here is Mundo. I run up with my teammate Lux to try to prevent the enemy from taking too many turns. Notice how I try to keep myself between Lux and the enemy, trying to prevent her from taking too much damage, or worse, being pulled by Blitzcrank. Now, I don't know what Warwick's doing here, farming minions or something, but Anivia is so far out of position, she is so far up, that Lux and I are able to quickly drop her and score our team another kill. All the while, Lux is staying as far back as possible in order to deal damage but not take much in return. After killing Anivia, seeing as I've already used my ultimate, it's time for me to back off, and I allow Tryndamere to take my place, continuing this chase. Now, because I am late to arrive to this teamfight, I come in from behind in an attempt to scatter them and disrupt their positioning. I am successful, and am able to take my place as tank for my team. Now, Blitzcrank is kind of smart here, because he's going around back in an attempt to silence our carries or otherwise disrupt them. However, he is their team's tank, and without him, Tryndamere and I especially are able to carve through their team with ease. Unfortunately, our Tryndamere makes a big mistake and goes way out of position by going off on his own after spinning through Anivia's wall. As a result, Anivia is able to kill him, picking up their team's only kill during this fight. However, after this, the carries and I have finished with the rest of their team, leaving only Warwick and Anivia. After a nice snare by Lux, Warwick is dead, and after my ultimate tanks the tower, we are able to finish off Anivia, and we're able to get the tower. So here we are taking Dragon when Evelyn discovers one of my mushrooms. I back off to deal with her while Katarina and Alistar finish Dragon. I don't feel like team fighting, so I back off, and apparently neither does LeBlanc. However, I do decide to stick around for a moment, seeing that there is some action happening mid. After we kill one of them, we move in to chase the rest of them down. Now, originally we start out a little bit out of position as our tank, Renekton, is snared by LeBlanc. However, he does dash back into the middle of them, and if you take a look, we are in near perfect position with Malzahar and I pumping out tons of damage while Renekton tanking their team, his ultimate dealing even more damage. Katarina, meanwhile, is scoring a triple kill. A little summary here. First of all, know a variety of champions. For example, 2 AD carries, 2 AP carries, a couple tanks, and try to know at least 1 or 2 that could jungle in case your team doesn't already have a jungler. Use this information to construct a balanced team, and choose smart summoner spells. You don't all need teleport, for example. Learn to last hit, especially if you're an AD carry, and while laning you have 2 main options, either push to deny the enemy gold, or harass and zone to deny both gold and experience. In both cases, make sure that you're aware of your surroundings and don't get ganked. Continuing along that train of thought, check your minimap often. When you're driving a car, you check your rearview mirror every couple seconds. Do the same thing to your minimap when playing League of Legends. Wards lead to easy kills and easy prevention of getting killed. Pretty self-explanatory. Use wards. Remember to think before tower diving. Make sure that you will be able to do more damage to the enemy than the enemy and their tower will be able to do to you. And, most importantly, while team fighting, stay in position. Tanks up front, carries in the back. Well, that's all for this guide. Thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something. Subscribe if you would like, and stay tuned for more videos. I plan on releasing some in-depth champion-specific guides in the near future.